Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. President Trump's decision to pull the United States out of the Paris Climate Accord is receiving mixed reaction from around the world. While many world leaders and Democrats expressed outrage and disappointment, some Republicans say it will only help American workers and the U.S. economy. Gary Lane has more.
When President Trump announced this on Thursday,
the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
The reaction from many U.S. Democratic politicians, world leaders, and Hollywood elites almost seemed like the president's decision would lead to the end of the world.
It is a huge mistake, and future generations will look back on this day as one of the worst things that's happened in the 21st century.
The rest of the world no longer respects the United States. This is the biggest issue in the world to most of the countries that have signed this agreement. They expect the United States to be the leader and not the laggard.
The president opened up the possibility of renegotiating the agreement, but the leaders of France, Germany, and Italy say that can't be done. Here in the U.S., so far 10 governors and more than 60 mayors say they plan to honor and uphold the commitments made in the 2015 Paris Accord. The president said he made his decision because the industry restrictions mandated by the accord would harm American businesses and workers by making them less competitive in global markets.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
Many Republicans on Capitol Hill were supportive of the U.S. pullout. Among them, House Speaker Paul Ryan praised the presidential action, saying, quote, "The Paris Climate Agreement was simply a raw deal for America, signed by President Obama without Senate ratification. It would have driven up the cost of energy, hitting middle-class and low-income Americans the hardest." And from the coal state of Kentucky, Senator Rand Paul, who tweeted, "This action by Donald Trump is great news for the economy and could save as many as 6 million U.S. jobs." This retired coal miner from West Virginia said it was a big day for coal.
He's keeping his promise that he's going to help get the coal jobs back, help people get back to work, and that's what we need. Anywhere in this country. You can go to Detroit, you can go to Pennsylvania, you can go to West Virginia. There's people been laid off for years, and it's been forgotten.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
The Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to immediately reinstate its ban on travelers from 6 countries that pose a terror threat. They say the U.S. will be safer with this policy put in place. Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen are included on the list. The Justice Department argued on Thursday that the federal appeals court in Richmond made several mistakes in ruling against the policy. Immigration officials would have 90 days to decide what changes are necessary before people may resume applying for visas. President Trump has delayed moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The White House issued a statement Thursday saying President Trump made this decision to maximize the chances of successfully negotiating a deal between Israel and the Palestinians, fulfilling his solemn obligation to defend America's national security interests. But the statement went on to emphasize that it's only a delay. Press Secretary Sean Spicer said the question is not if that move happens, but only when. As a gunman opened fire at a popular hotel near the airport in Manila Thursday, Philippine government troops intensified their battle against ISIS-linked rebels in Mindanao. Despite the risks, our CBN relief team is on the ground near the battle zone, along with Lucille Tulusan, who brings us this update from Marawi City.
The Philippine military is waging an all-out war against the ISIS-linked Mauti group in Marawi, Mindanao. Security forces are trying to liberate the seized city from the terrorists by launching surgical airstrikes. Tragically, 10 soldiers were killed recently when an army plane accidentally bombed the Philippine troops. The soldiers were positioned close to where the terrorists were holed up. Sporadic gunfire and airstrike bombs can be heard from where I am standing. Now, this village has turned into a ghost town, and this is part of the 85% of Marawi City that is now under the control of government troops. But as the government forces continue to advance in fighting against the Mauti group, their main concern is the safety of the trapped residents and hostages that these terrorists are using as human shields.
Our mandate, just remember the mandate of your troops on the ground is to neutralize and destroy the remaining local terrorist groups and be able to rescue the trapped civilians in the hostile area.
Since the beginning of this war against the Islamic extremists on May 23rd, the number of internally displaced persons has risen to 200,000, which is two-thirds of Marawi City's population. Evacuees like Lailani are now suffering the brunt of the Marawi crisis. She said many people feared getting caught in the crossfire, so they left their homes and all their belongings in order to save their lives.
We were so scared, especially for the safety of my baby. And so on the second day, we hired a jeepney to be able to escape from the crossfire.
Despite the danger, CBN Humanitarian is giving help to the war victims, who are mostly Muslims. And since it's Ramadan, the organization is providing meals for them after their fast. They're also providing slippers, toys for the children, and the much-needed stress debriefing counseling. Much time may pass before this conflict ends, and that is why CBN Humanitarian is prepared to provide more help in the coming days, bringing hope to the residents of Marawi who may have lost their dreams in the war. Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Marawi City, Philippines.
Coming up, it is the holy month of Ramadan for Muslims. See why experts are sending a serious warning about ISIS-inspired attacks. Welcome back. Muslims around the world are praying and fasting this month in observance of Ramadan. It started on May 26th and ends on June 24th. While the vast majority of Muslims use the time for prayer and atonement, a growing number are resorting to violence. For example, ISIS is urging its followers to use Ramadan to wage an all-out war. They say murdering civilians is a beloved act that Allah will reward. To understand why Ramadan is so important to Islamic jihadists, George Thomas sat down with Robert Spencer, author of several books on Islam, including The Complete Infidel's Guide to the Quran, and Ishaq Abla, a former radical Muslim who at the age of 12 wanted to become a suicide bomber. Now she's a Christian who runs Ishaq Abla Ministries. Take a look.
George, it is so important to Muslims because it is ordered in the Quran by Allah to fast for a month, and also it's a sacrifice for them, sacrificial of their flesh, putting their flesh into suffering for Allah.
Robert, let me go to you. But Ramadan is also a time of jihad and martyrdom for Muslims, right?
Yes, that's right, George. And it's really all the same motion. It's all the same thing. We have to remember that jihad means struggle. And so the spiritual struggle within the soul to grow closer to Allah and to become more righteous is the same jihad as the struggle against unbelievers, because Allah commands warfare against unbelievers in the Quran itself. And so Ramadan is quintessentially the month of jihad, the month of interior spiritual struggle, but also a month in which the war against unbelievers is redoubled in its ferocity, because it is in itself an act of devotion to Allah.
Ishaq, you wanted to become a suicide bomber. Help us understand this culture of death that seems so pervasive in the Islamic world.
Well, I went to a Quran course at age 12. It was that time I considered it. I had very, very disturbed feelings and dreams about how to kill infidels after going to that Quran course. And they made us watch a movie about jihad. So they didn't present it, you are going to kill a bunch of innocent people and children in the name of Allah. They taught us that we were freedom fighters for Allah. We had to cleanse the world from evildoers, which were infidels. So they presented it. It was the most heroic action that any Muslim could do to achieve Allah's acceptance and please Allah.
You know, defenders of Islam will say that such calls to arms is a perversion of the faith. Is it?
No, it's not, George. Not at all. Paradise is guaranteed in the Quran, chapter 9, verse 111, to those who kill and are killed for Allah. That's the only guarantee of paradise anywhere in the Quran. As Ishik was saying, there's no other guarantee of salvation, no promise of, no assurance of salvation. The only way you can be sure to gain paradise is by killing and being killed in the process. And so Muslims who take the Quran seriously as the perfect word of Allah will see Ramadan as the perfect time to kill infidels and please Allah, because Allah is the purpose of Ramadan, is to grow closer to Allah.
You know, many jihadists who launch attacks during Ramadan seem to evoke the Battle of Badr in 624 to justify their acts of evil. Real quickly, tell us about this battle and its significance.
Very important. It's pivotal in Islamic history. The first great battle the Muslims fought, they were vastly outnumbered, and yet they won. And so in the Quran, it's repeatedly said, you did not win that victory. Allah won that victory for you because you were righteous. This creates a vicious circle. Whenever things go wrong for Muslims or for Muslim countries, it's blamed on their sinfulness and they become more religious. This becomes more lethal for everyone else because it's a religious observance to wage war against infidels. And so the Battle of Badr, with the idea that you won only because of Allah's favor and Allah's favor came to you because of your piety, only increases the ferocity and the fanaticism of Muslims in waging jihad against unbelievers.
Ishik, is there a connection between fasting and jihad?
Absolutely, George. Fasting is the first step to jihad because it's making your body to suffer in the name of Allah. So jihad is the ultimate next level of sacrifice, of sacrificial living, preparing yourself whether to kill or die in the name of Allah.
Is this why you are seeing these spectacular attacks happen during Ramadan? For example, the massacre of Christians in the Sinai Desert a few days ago, the huge truck bombing in Kabul, Afghanistan, and then in Baghdad. Are we going to see more and more of these spectacular attacks happen in the next days to come?
Yes, George, I think that's virtually assured because of the nature of Islamic belief regarding jihad and Ramadan and the fact that it is a spiritual devotion. The Quran says fighting is prescribed for you even though you dislike it. And Ramadan is all about doing the things that Allah wants you to do that you might dislike. And fighting being foremost among them, we're going to see more terrorism during Ramadan.
And the reality is that the Muslim world is suffering at the hand of their own co-religionists, right, Robert?
Yes, this is because of the idea of takfir, of declaring that another Muslim group or individual is not Muslim and is therefore heretical or apostate, and there is a death penalty for heresy or apostasy in Islam. This is why Muslims are the first victims and foremost victims of jihad violence.
Yeah. Finally to you, Ishik, how can Christians pray for Muslims during Ramadan?
First of all, we need to understand, George, that they are seeking the Creator. They want to get close to God, but they don't know who God is, who true God is. I think our main point of prayer is during the time that they are putting all their efforts, like I was doing, we can start praying wholeheartedly that they will get too close to Jesus. They will know the true Redeemer and true Savior of the world, that who died for their sins to save them and love them unconditionally. So I think this would be the main point, that God of our prayers, that God will reveal, true God will reveal himself to them during this month.
Okay. Ishik Abla runs Ishik Abla Ministries. I know that is your heart as you minister to Muslims around the world. And Robert Spencer, to you, sir, always great to have your expertise and analysis on this very, very important topic. So thanks to both of you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Important information there. To learn more about Robert Spencer and Ishik Abla, log on to cbnnews.com. Up next, opioid addiction is sweeping the United States. Still ahead, what one lawmaker is doing to fight the problem in Ohio. Mike DeWine says 5 big drug makers have created a deadly mess in Ohio, and he wants them to clean it up. DeWine sued the companies Wednesday for intentionally misleading patients about the dangers of painkillers. He says they started an opioid epidemic in his state. Take a look.
Ohio is one of now several states that are going after drug makers, saying they've put profits above safety and fueled a nationwide opioid epidemic.
It is just and it is right that the people who played a significant role in creating this mess in the state of Ohio should pay to clean it up.
DeWine says the drug companies flooded his state with misleading information about the risks and benefits of prescription opioids like Oxycontin and Percocet. He spoke with CBN's Lori Johnson about it earlier this year.
We had a number of pharmaceutical companies that developed pain meds, and they were pushing those out, and they were telling the doctors these are not very addictive. Turns out they are very addictive.
Once addicted, some patients then turn to heroin, which is stronger and cheaper. And this addiction is killing Ohioans at a record rate. The Columbus Dispatch reported that county coroners say more than 4,000 died last year from drug overdoses, compared to the record 3,000 the year before. Scenes like this are now all too common. Police rescuing a 4-year-old in a van with his grandmother and her boyfriend passed out, overdosed on heroin. At least one drug company says DeWine's accusations are unfounded, but another says it wants to work together to find a solution.
Kentucky and Oregon have filed similar suits against drug makers in recent years and walked away with millions. But DeWine doesn't expect the suit to bring a quick fix.
He's created a heroin unit to go after the Mexican cartels that bring the drug to his state. He's promoting education as early as kindergarten, and he's also asking churches for help.
The programs that work, the treatment that works, many times has a faith-based component part to it.
Those are seriously disturbing images in that piece. It'd be great for the church to get involved there. We'll be right back with more of CBN NewsWatch. Thanks for watching. Stay with us. Welcome back to NewsWatch. CBN's humanitarian organization, Operation Blessing, is celebrating a milestone. Their hunger strike force has traveled 35 million miles across America since first hitting the road 25 years ago. Operation Blessing truck drivers got their picture taken with CBN founder Pat Robertson after the 700 Club this week. The Hunger Strike Force hauls food and supplies to those in need. Over the fleet's 25-year existence, drivers have distributed 1.5 billion pounds of food and relief supplies.
To me, it's like a lifeblood, because when those trucks show up at a disaster site, it means hope has come in. There are people who are hauling blankets, they're hauling fresh water, they're hauling medicine, and more than anything, they're hauling the staples of life.
It feels good just to go into a needy area, especially to see people when they light up and see it's coming. And then when I step outside of that truck, I feel so good to be a part of that, to be able to take care of those people.
I'm grateful for this opportunity. I love the Savior and appreciate CBN and Operation Blessing for the effect they have on people and the help they give.
Driver Frank Kennedy told CBN News that he believes his position is a calling and that it's not drivers that minister, it's ministers who drive. Well said. Well, if you're looking for some good entertainment this weekend, we've got your family-friendly movie reviews right here. Our friends at Plugged In Online bring us a review of Wonder Woman. Take a look.
It is our sacred duty to defend the world, and it's what I'm going to do.
In the movie Wonder Woman, a young princess named Diana lives on a magical island filled with female warriors called Amazons, and she might well have just stayed there, except that Steve Trevor, a spy working for Britain during World War I, somehow pierced the island's magical defenses and crashed his plane right off the coast. Diana rescues the man, and once she hears him tell of the horrific war to end all wars...
What is your mission?
To stop the war.
What war?
The war to end all wars.
She knows that Ares, the god of war and the Amazon's mortal enemy, must be at work. She feels compelled to stop Ares and help mankind find its path to being what Zeus made them to be, wise, true, and good. But to do so means leaving her mother, the Amazons, and the magical island behind to throw in her lot with the mortal world.
I'm going, Mother. If you choose to leave, you may never return. Who will I be if I stay?
Unfortunately, Diana soon learns that those mortals aren't quite as wise, true, or good as she had hoped. This is a rollicking superhero flick that showcases perhaps one of the most principled heroes in the DC Comics universe. She rails against injustice, she weeps over the horrors of war, and she believes in goodness and truth and love. However, the film's pantheistic spirituality, its superhero violence, its few sensual moments, and some mild profanities detract from those virtues. So I'll give Wonder Woman 3 bullet-deflecting bracelets out of 5 for family friendliness. For the full review, visit us at PluggedIn.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Bob Waliszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
Thank you, Bob. And that's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here, and you can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com or talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.